Crash landing and first contact, the human spaceship shuddered violently. Alarms blared all around the small cockpit. Captain Jason looked at the flashing red lights with growing worry. The ship was losing power fast. Outside, the stars blinked cold and distant. Something had gone terribly wrong. Engine failure, Jason muttered under his breath. He struggled with the controls, trying to stabilize the ship. But the damage was too bad. The ship started to fall toward the nearest planet, a world no one on Earth had explored before. Outside the window, Jason saw a strange sky. It was not the black space he was used to, but a deep purple with swirling clouds. Below, jagged mountains and thick forests stretched for miles. The planet looked dangerous, wild, and unknown. The ship hit the atmosphere with a loud roar. The heat shield glowed red-hot as the vessel struggled to stay together. Jason braced himself for impact. The crash was hard. The ship smashed into the ground and skidded through rocks and dirt before finally stopping. Silence filled the cockpit except for the slow beep of the emergency systems. Jason's head hurt, but he was alive. He unbuckled his seatbelt carefully and looked around. The ship's systems were failing, and there was no way to call for help. He forced open the small hatch and climbed outside. The air smelled strange, sharp and metallic. The sky above was dim with a thick haze. Jason looked around, trying to take in the new world. Everything seemed quiet, but he knew better. This planet was not friendly. As Jason moved away from the wreck, he noticed strange tracks in the dirt, large footprints unlike any animal on Earth. His heart quickened. He was not alone here. Then, in the distance, he saw movement. Figures moved swiftly between the trees. They were tall, slender, and unlike any creature Jason had ever seen. Their skin shimmered blue under the faint light, and their eyes glowed softly. Jason froze. The aliens had seen him. Fear gripped him, but he knew running would not help. The figures approached cautiously, watching Jason with curiosity. Their language was strange, sounds flowing like music but impossible to understand. Then a woman stepped forward. She was different from the others, taller and more regal. Her eyes held a sharp intelligence and authority. Jason could feel her gaze like a beam. She spoke in a clear voice, but in a language Jason could not understand. Then she pointed to herself and made a gesture that seemed like a claim. Jason did not know what to say. He was trapped on a strange planet with strange beings. He felt small and alone. The woman's face softened slightly, and she made a gesture for Jason to follow her. Jason hesitated, but the aliens did not seem hostile. Maybe they wanted to help, or maybe they had other plans. He took a deep breath and followed the alien princess into the unknown forest. The trees were tall and twisted, their leaves glowing faintly. Strange sounds echoed around them, calls of unknown animals and rustling leaves. Jason tried to keep his fear hidden. He was a survivor, trained for the worst. But this world tested everything he knew. The princess led him to a clearing where a small village stood. The buildings were made of strange materials, glowing crystals and organic shapes that seemed alive. Jason watched carefully as the aliens gathered around. They looked at him with a mix of curiosity and caution. The princess spoke again, this time making gestures and pointing at Jason, then at herself. Jason realized she was telling them he belonged to her now. A cold chill ran down his spine. He asked, "Why me? Why am I here?" The princess did not answer with words, but with a look that said this was the way of their people, a tradition older than anyone could remember. Jason looked around at the alien faces. Some were friendly, others stern and watchful. He knew one thing: surviving here would not be easy, but he would not give up. He would find a way. As the sun set on the strange planet, Jason felt both fear and hope. This was only the beginning of his journey. The mating season had started and the alien princess had claimed him. Now, the real test would begin. The alien princess's claim. The alien village was quiet under the dark sky, but tension filled the air. Jason sat on a glowing stone bench, his hands trembling slightly. He had so many questions racing through his mind. Why had the alien princess claimed him? What did it mean for his future? The princess, whose name Jason did not know yet, stood before the gathered aliens. Her tall figure shone with a soft blue light. She spoke to the crowd in her strange language, her voice strong and clear. The aliens listened carefully, some nodding, others whispering to each other. Then she turned to Jason. Her eyes locked on his with an intense gaze. Jason felt like she was looking into his very soul. The princess made a gesture, placing her hand on her chest and then pointing at Jason. It was a clear claim. She had chosen him. Jason's heart pounded. He wanted to run, to escape this strange world and these unknown rules. But he was trapped. The princess's claim was more than words. It was a binding tradition. To refuse meant dishonor or worse. He tried to speak, but the princess raised her hand, stopping him. Instead, she motioned for her guards to bring something from inside one of the glowing buildings. Soon, a group of aliens returned carrying a small, delicate object. It was a glowing bracelet, made of the same strange crystal that lit up the village. The princess held it out to Jason. "This," she said in broken English, "mark of mate." Jason looked at the bracelet, feeling the weight of the moment. If he accepted it, he would be tied to this alien world forever. But refusing could anger the princess and her people. He swallowed hard and took the bracelet. The moment it touched his wrist, a strange warmth spread through his body. The crystal pulsed softly as if alive. The princess smiled faintly, but behind her eyes, Jason saw something fierce. Determination mixed with something deeper. Maybe hope. That night, Jason lay on a bed made of soft glowing fibers. The alien village was silent except for distant sounds of strange creatures. His mind raced with memories of Earth, his family, friends, and the life he had left behind. Was this strange world his new home now? Or was it a prison? Suddenly, footsteps echoed outside his room. The princess entered quietly. She did not speak but sat beside him. Her presence was calming yet mysterious. "Why did you choose me?" Jason finally asked. She looked at him, her eyes softening. "You are strong, different. This world needs change." Jason frowned. "Change? What do you mean?" She hesitated. "Mating season is time of power and pain. Many suffer. Old ways must end." Jason realized the princess was not just a ruler but a rebel, trying to protect her people from cruel traditions. He felt a spark of hope. But before he could say more, loud alarms shattered the quiet. The village was under attack. Outside, glowing weapons fired into the dark. Alien guards shouted and ran to defend their home. Jason and the princess hurried outside, their faces tense. The attackers were fierce. Unknown aliens with dark armor and vicious weapons. They wanted to capture or kill everyone. Jason felt a surge of fear but also courage. He grabbed a fallen weapon, a strange but powerful energy staff. Though he had no training with alien weapons, he knew he had to fight. Side by side, Jason and the princess defended the village. He saw the princess's fierce strength and sharp mind as she led the defenders. Despite the danger, Jason felt a connection growing between them. As the battle raged, Jason spotted an enemy moving toward the princess. Without thinking, he rushed to block the attack. The enemy snarled, but retreated when Jason's staff glowed brightly. After what felt like hours, the attackers finally fled into the night. The village was damaged but still standing. Breathing hard, Jason looked at the princess. She was bruised but smiling. "You are more than mate," she said quietly. "You are protector." Jason felt a strange pride. This alien world was dangerous, but he was not alone anymore. As the village began repairs, Jason realized the true challenge was just beginning. The mating season's rituals, the alien politics, and the mysterious enemies would test him in ways he never imagined. And deep inside, Jason knew that his survival depended not just on strength, but on trust. Trust in the alien princess who claimed him, and in himself. Hostile world rules and strange customs, The morning after the attack, Jason woke with a heavy heart and pounding thoughts. The alien village was alive with activity, but a tense silence hung over everything. The battle had been won, but the war, he felt, was far from over. The princess appeared at his side as he stepped outside. Her face was calm but serious. "Today, you learn," she said simply. Jason nodded, unsure what to expect. She led him through the village toward a large building made of shining crystals and twisting metal. Inside, the air was cool and smelled faintly of strange herbs. Seated there were several elders, tall, wise aliens with eyes that seemed to hold the weight of centuries. The princess introduced Jason. "He is claimed, must learn our rules." One elder spoke slowly. "Mating season means power shift. Old laws rule life and death. Survival for strong, sacrifice for weak." Jason's stomach tightened. This was no ordinary mating season. It was a time of danger, fear, and ruthless rules. The elders showed him carvings on glowing walls, scenes of past mating seasons, warriors fighting, captives taken, sacrifices made. It was brutal and raw. "You must follow tradition," the princess warned, "or suffer consequences." Jason felt trapped by the heavy chains of alien custom, but he knew he had to play along, at least for now. Outside, the planet's wildness reminded him how far from Earth he truly was. The air was thick with strange scents, and sharp sounds echoed from the dense forests. Giant creatures roamed in the distance, some curious, others clearly dangerous. His alien guards stayed close, watching every move. Jason realized escape was impossible, at least for now. As the day passed, the princess showed him more: the mating rituals, the tests of strength, and the political games beneath the surface. He met other aliens, some friendly, some cold, and suspicious. Whispers followed him everywhere. Some wanted to help, others watched him like a prize or a threat. One night, Jason overheard a secret conversation between two alien guards. They spoke in low tones about a hidden danger. A group within the village wanted to stop the princess, and Jason. Fear and doubt twisted inside him. Who could he trust? Desperate for answers, Jason asked the princess, "Why do they hate you?" "And me?" She looked away, her eyes dark. "Some fear change. They want old ways. Pain, control, blood. And me? You are symbol of new hope, but also target." Jason's heart sank. His presence had sparked a dangerous game. Then came the first test, a ritual challenge that every mate must face during mating season. Failure meant exile, or worse. The challenge was brutal, a fight against the strongest alien warriors, in a clearing surrounded by hostile beasts. Jason trained with the princess watching, her eyes sharp and encouraging. He was not a warrior, like the aliens, but his human strength and quick thinking gave him an edge. On the day of the challenge, the village gathered. Tension hung thick in the air. Jason faced his opponents, tall, fierce aliens with years of combat experience. The fight was fierce, his body pushed to the limit, but in the end his courage and determination won. The crowd gasped and then cheered, the princess smiling proudly, but the victory brought no peace. Hidden eyes watched from the shadows and whispers grew louder. Jason knew the real battle was just beginning. That night, as the village slept, a shadow moved near his quarters. Silent footsteps, watching eyes. He reached for a hidden weapon but saw nothing. Was it real, or his fear? The alien world was full of secrets, and Jason was caught in the center. He understood now. Surviving here meant more than fighting. It meant knowing when to trust, when to hide, and when to strike. The mating season's dark power was rising. The alien princess had claimed him, but now, enemies closed in. Jason's journey was no longer just about survival. It was about changing, a world built on fear and old rules. And for the first time he wondered, could a human truly change an alien world? Growing bonds and hidden threats days passed since Jason's victory in the ritual challenge, but peace remained distant. The alien village buzzed with quiet whispers and sideways glances. Some aliens treated Jason like a hero, others like a dangerous outsider. The tension in the air was thick like a storm waiting to break. The princess stayed close, her presence both a shield and a reminder of the claim she had made. She began to share more of her world with him, stories of her people's history, their struggles, and the pain hidden beneath the beauty of the alien planet. One evening, under the glow of twin moons, they walked together through the glowing forest near the village. The air was alive with soft sounds, strange insects, distant calls, and the rustle of leaves. "You don't have to be alone here," the princess said softly. "We are different, but we can learn. Trust grows slowly." Jason looked at her, surprise flickering in his eyes. In this strange world, trust was rare and precious. As they walked, Jason noticed the careful way she moved, a mix of grace and strength, like a predator and protector all in one. Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden noise, a sharp crack of a branch breaking nearby. Both froze. "Something's watching us," Jason whispered, his senses alert. The princess's eyes narrowed. Enemies. Before they could react, shadows moved between the trees. Armed figures emerged silently, their faces hidden beneath dark. "Helmets, traitors," the princess hissed. "They want to stop me, stop us." Jason's heart raced. These attackers were different from the last, more organized, more dangerous. The intruders advanced, but Jason was ready. He grabbed a fallen branch and held it like a weapon, his mind sharp. "Stay behind me," he told the princess. The fight was quick and brutal. Jason swung the branch with surprising strength, striking one enemy down. The princess moved with deadly precision, disabling another. But the attackers were many. They fought fiercely, determined to capture or kill. Suddenly, a blast of energy struck near Jason's feet. He stumbled but stayed standing. The princess called out, "We must run!" They fled through the forest, branches whipping at their faces, creatures howling in the dark. Jason's breath burned in his chest as adrenaline pushed him forward. They reached a narrow cave hidden by glowing vines. The princess pulled him inside, sealing the entrance with a strange crystal barrier. Inside the cave, the air was cool and damp. Jason leaned against the wall, heart pounding. "Why are they after you?" The princess looked away, pain flashing in her eyes. "Old rivals, powerful clans who refuse to accept change. They fear what I represent. Hope for peace, for a new way." "And me?" Jason asked quietly. "You are their greatest threat," she said, a symbol that change is possible. The weight of her words settled on Jason. He was more than a survivor or a captive. He was a spark that could start a revolution. But the danger was real. The cave was not safe for long. They needed allies, information, and strength. Over the next days, hidden in the cave, the princess taught Jason more about her people's culture, their fears, hopes, and the fragile politics that ruled their world. Jason listened and learned, feeling a deep respect for the princess's courage and vision. Their bond grew stronger, not just as allies, but as two souls fighting a common battle. Yet, outside, enemies plotted. Spies crept into the village, searching for the missing princess and her human mate. One night, Jason caught a shadow moving near the cave's entrance. He held his breath, ready to fight. But the figure stepped forward, a young alien, eyes wide with fear and hope. "I want to help," the alien whispered. "The old ways must end. You can trust me." Jason looked at the princess. Could they risk trusting a stranger? Or was this the key to survival? The future was uncertain. The mating season's dark power was rising, enemies were closing in, and the strange bond between human and alien princess was their only hope. And as the twin moons shone through the cave entrance, Jason knew one thing clearly. The fight for this hostile world was just beginning. Attack on the alien city. The sun was barely rising over the alien horizon when Jason awoke with a start. A cold feeling settled deep in his chest. The quiet village felt different today, tense, watchful, as if it knew danger was near. Outside, the alien princess was already moving swiftly through the streets, her face set with determination. Jason followed, gripping the energy staff she had given him. The peaceful village they once knew was no more. The enemy was coming, soon. The first warning came, a sharp, piercing alarm that echoed across the glowing city. Alien guards shouted orders, rushing to their positions. Jason felt his pulse quicken. This was no drill. Dark shapes appeared on the horizon, enemy ships cutting through the sky like shadows. Their weapons gleamed, ready to strike. The princess stood tall before her people, her voice steady but filled with power. Defend our home, protect the weak, fight for our future. Jason watched as aliens grabbed weapons, shields, and gear, preparing for battle. He felt a mix of fear and fierce determination. This was the moment he had been waiting for, to prove himself not just a survivor, but a protector. The first wave of attackers landed with brutal force. Explosions rocked the city as energy blasts tore through buildings. Jason dove behind cover, narrowly avoiding a deadly strike. He saw the princess fighting like a warrior born, graceful, fierce, and unstoppable. She moved through the chaos, rallying her people and striking down enemies with skill and strength. But the attackers were relentless. They knew the importance of the mating season. This was the time to crush hope and take control. Amidst the battle, Jason spotted a group of enemy soldiers sneaking toward the city's power core, a vital source of energy for the entire village. If destroyed, the city would be plunged into darkness and chaos. Without hesitation, Jason sprinted after them, dodging blasts and debris. His human instincts kicked in. He fought fiercely, using his staff to disarm and disable. He reached the core just in time, confronting the enemy leader, a cold, ruthless alien who sneered at Jason's presence. "You cannot win, human," the enemy hissed. "Your people are weak." Jason's grip tightened. "Maybe, but I fight for more than strength. I fight for hope." The two clashed, energy crackling between them. The fight was brutal, testing Jason's limits, but his determination and quick thinking gave him an edge. With a final powerful strike, Jason sent the enemy leader crashing to the ground, defeated. Back in the city, the tide of battle slowly turned. The princess and her warriors pushed the attackers back, their cries rising with renewed hope. But victory came at a cost. The city lay damaged, fires burning, and many were wounded. Jason and the princess stood among their people, exhausted but unbroken. "You have proven yourself," the princess said, her voice soft but proud. "You are more than mate. You are a guardian of our world." Jason looked around at the faces of aliens and humans alike, some scared, some hopeful. This was no longer just a fight for survival. It was a fight for a future where two worlds could come together. As night fell, Jason felt a new strength within him. The challenges were far from over, but with the princess by his side, he believed they could face anything. And deep in the shadows, the enemy regrouped, plotting their next move. The war for the alien planet had only just begun. Escape and survival. The alien city was scarred from the battle, its glowing walls cracked and smoking. Though the enemy had been pushed back, their threat was far from over. Jason and the princess knew it was only a matter of time before the attackers returned, stronger and more ruthless. "We cannot stay here," the princess said, her voice steady but urgent. "They will come again, and next time, we may not." "Be ready," Jason nodded. He felt the weight of leadership settling on his shoulders. "Where do we go?" The princess looked toward the dense forest beyond the city's edge. "There is a hidden sanctuary, a place where we can regroup and plan, but it is dangerous. Many never return." Without hesitation, they gathered a small group of trusted allies, warriors, scouts, and a few who had quietly supported the princess's vision of change. Jason's heart was heavy, leaving behind the injured and the city's ruins, but survival meant moving forward. As night fell, the group slipped through shadowed streets and vanished into the forest's dark embrace. The wilderness was alive with threats. Towering trees with glowing leaves hid predators that moved silently, eyes shining like stars in the dark. Strange noises echoed, sending chills down Jason's spine. They traveled carefully, the princess leading with knowledge born from years in this world. Jason stayed alert, muscles tense, ready for anything. Suddenly, a low growl echoed behind them. Shadows shifted, and a massive creature lunged from the underbrush. It was unlike anything Jason had seen. Massive claws, sharp teeth, and eyes burning with hunger. Without thinking, Jason stepped forward, raising his energy staff. The creature snarled, but Jason's calm and steady stance gave him strength. The fight was fierce, but the creature retreated into the forest, wounded but alive. Breathing hard, Jason realized this world's dangers were not just from enemies. They were everywhere. Days passed as they moved deeper into the wilderness. The group faced harsh weather, strange terrain, and constant threats from hidden foes. During quiet moments, Jason and the princess shared stories of their worlds. She spoke of her childhood, the burdens of leadership, and her hope for peace. Jason spoke of Earth, of family, freedom, and the fight to survive. Their bond deepened, built on trust and shared struggle. But danger followed them. One night, Jason noticed fresh tracks around their camp, signs of pursuit. "We are being followed," he warned. The princess's eyes flashed. "We must prepare." They set traps and guards, but the attackers came in greater numbers this time. Skilled. Hunters determined to end their rebellion. The battle under the stars was brutal. Jason fought with every ounce of strength, protecting the princess and their allies. The forest lit up with energy blasts and the sounds of clashing weapons. When dawn finally broke, the attackers had been driven off, but the cost was high. Friends were wounded, supplies low, and hope fragile. As the group rested, Jason looked at the princess, her face marked with dirt and sweat, but her eyes fierce. "We cannot run forever," he said. "We must fight for the future of this world." She nodded. "And we will, together." Yet the wilderness held secrets still unknown, dangers deeper than any enemy, and challenges that would test their courage, loyalty, and hearts. Jason knew one thing clearly: the journey was far from over. Survival depended on more than strength. It depended on unity, trust, and the will to change a world born in fear. And as the alien sun rose high, casting strange light on their path, Jason and the princess prepared for the hardest battle yet, the fight for a new beginning. Final confrontation and new beginning, the hidden sanctuary lay deep within the alien wilderness, a fortress carved from ancient stone and glowing crystals. Here, Jason and the princess gathered their allies, preparing for the inevitable final battle. Their enemies were relentless, but so was their hope. As the alien sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the land, tension crackled in the air. Every face in the sanctuary showed determination, mixed with fear. They knew this fight would decide the future of their world. Jason stood beside the princess, his energy staff glowing softly. He looked at the warrior who had claimed him, the leader who carried the weight of a dying world on her shoulders. "Tonight, we fight not just for survival," she said quietly, "but for change, for peace, for the future we both dreamed of." Jason nodded. His heart burned with a fierce resolve. This was no longer about just two people. It was about a new world where fear no longer ruled. Then the first signs of the enemy appeared, dark shapes moving swiftly through the forest, weapons drawn and eyes glowing with hatred. The battle erupted with a roar. Energy blasts lit the night and the sound of clashing weapons echoed through the trees. Jason fought with every ounce of strength, his human courage a wild force against alien foes. Beside him, the princess moved like a storm, graceful, deadly, inspiring. Together, they led their people, a symbol of unity and hope. But the enemy was cunning. A trap sprung and the sanctuary's defenses were breached. Chaos threatened to overwhelm them. In the heart of the battle, Jason faced the enemy leader again, the same ruthless alien who had tried to destroy him before. This time, the fight was not just physical but a battle of wills. "You cannot change this world," the enemy sneered. "Old ways are too strong." Jason stood tall, his voice steady. Old ways die when new hope rises. Their final clash was fierce, pushing Jason to his limits. But with the princess's support and the strength of their allies, he struck. the enemy down. As the enemy fled, the sanctuary stood, wounded but undefeated. The dawn broke over a changed world. The princess and Jason stood together, hands joined, faces glowing with hope. "This is only the beginning," she said. "A new way for our people. No more fear, no more pain." Jason smiled. "We will build it, together." Their story, born in danger and struggle, was now a legend of hope. The human who landed on a hostile planet had changed its fate, not by force alone but by courage, trust, and love. And as the twin moons rose again, the alien world breathed a new future, one where two worlds had become one.